Hey, what's up all you learners out there in learning land? Tyler from 10thumbspro.com, and today we're talking blues and we're talking soloing and we're talking strategies for the one chord. By knowing how to play over the one chord, you are able to make your solo pop, make it stick to the chord progression a little more, make it more melodic, make it more distinct, make it better in general. Today is strategies for the one chord, but you should also have strategies for the 4 and 5 chord to complete this. So we're going to do just the one today, but in the future we'll do 4 and 5. Printable tabs for this lesson by becoming a Patreon. You'll see links up here in the notes. Also check the links in the description. You'll see my email if you want some one-on-one lessons. Let's go ahead and break it down. Grab your guitar, electric or acoustic, brain, and attention span. Once you have those three things, follow me on in and let's break this lesson down together. Come on in, let's do it. All right, so we're going to be breaking this down in the key of A, and the first strategy that we're going to be using is the A minor pentatonic or the A blues scale. So let's review that. A root note here, 5th fret of the E string, 5, 8, 5, 6, 7, and that 6th fret right there is the flat 5th. That's the note that turns it from a pentatonic scale into a blues scale. It's a passing tone. So you'll never resolve or just sit on that note. You play it in passing. 5, 7, 5, 7, up to 8. The blues note again, the flat 5th, 5, 8, 5, 8. So we get. Okay, so that would be the first strategy that you would use over the one chord. And in fact, you could use that one scale over the whole 12 bar. And that's where you should start. If you're just getting started soloing, you should just be using just that scale over all 3 chords. Let's put it into a lick and then let's talk about what we're doing with it. It sounds like this. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm starting on the root. This is also an A note here on the 7th fret of the D string. And I'm going down to the G note, 5th fret. And that's just 1 and. And then I'm going to go up here to the 7th fret of the G string and start triplets, all right? Triplets sound great with this scale. They sound great with any blues solo. And I'm going to go 7, 8, or I'm sorry. I'm going to go 7, 5, 5. So I'm not just going through the scale. I'm skipping notes. That's a great solo strategy to give the scale a little more interest. If you always just play the notes in order. It's just always going to sound like a scale, all right? So we get those triplets up there. Do, 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 do. Then another triplet run. I'm going to grab the 11th fret, or not the 11th fret, the 8th fret here with my pinky, and I'm going to give it a little blues bend, just a little nudge. If you see my pinky, I'm going to push it just a little bit. That's because this is the minor third, all right? This is the C note on the shape, and you want to know where the minor thirds are because we're playing this over an A7 chord, and the A7 chord has a C sharp note in it, and this is a C note. So by giving it this little baby bend, we're kind of pushing it towards that C sharp, which is called a blues curl, which is classic. If you listen to Eric Clapton's solo, for example, anytime he hits that minor third, he's going to give it just that little nudge. And we're going to start our triplet off there, boom, and then right back where we came, 5, 5. And then we're going to head back to the 7th fret here, but we're going to get there from our passing tone, that flat 5th, and instantly slide to it because we're going to complete a triplet, trip-o-la. And that triplet is going to land on the root, but we're going to hit it one more time to land on the first beat of the next measure. So really slow, you get 1 and 2 pola, 3 pola, 4 pola, 1. 1 and 2 pola, 3 pola, 4 pola, 1. So that's just one way to turn that minor scale into a tasty lick, okay? There's a lot of different ways to do it. Just kind of be aware of when you're coming over this one chord, what your best resolutions are. You have your A note, which is your root. That's always available. You want to avoid that third, like we talked about, because, well, you want to avoid resolving on the third because we have a C sharp in this chord, not a C note. You can also resolve on the flat 7th if you want. The G note is available because we do have a G note in our A7. And then the other tone that you have available is your E note, your 5th. You can always resolve on your 5th as well. So those would be the 3 best notes for resolution in this scale. All right. Okay, so the next is the C major pentatonic. Now this is about the 1 chord, but just a heads up, this will not sound good over the 4 chord. The shape that we're going to do, because we're going to start in the same root and try to keep this in the same area, is going to be shape 4 of the pentatonic, and it's going to go 5, 7, 4, 7, 4, 7, 4, 6, 5, 7, 5, 7. So that is the A major pentatonic in shape 4. Why don't we go? Okay, so what's the difference between these scales? The minor scale, what we are doing is we are giving up the minor 3rd, we're giving up the 4th interval, and we're giving up the flat 7th. And we are gaining the 2nd interval, the major 3rd interval, and we are also gaining the 6th interval. The 2nd interval is very funky sounding. It's the note in funk music. The major 3rd is bright, characteristic of defining the A7 chord. And then the 6th is a very country sound, very John Fogerty. So these are all bright, happy tones that we're gaining, and they do sound good in a blues context. So let's take a look at our major lick. It's going to sound like this. And what I'm doing here is I'm playing our root note, 7th fret of the B, which is that 6th interval, and back to the root, 1 and 2. So nothing fancy, 1 and 2. And then I'm going to bend from the 2nd fret, or the 7th fret here, 2nd interval, 7th fret, up a whole step to this 9th fret, which is the major 3rd interval. If you can't bend there, if you're not comfortable with that, you're on an acoustic guitar, you could slide. And then I'm going to, with that pre-bend, bend back down. And if you're, again, not comfortable, you just slide back down. And then back to the root on the first beat. So we're highlighting all of these notes in the major pentatonic that we've added. We go root, 6, root, 2nd bend to 3rd, 3rd bend to 2nd, back to the root. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. And that's our little major lick, all right? Very, very B.B. King. B.B. King made a lot of use of this scale. He loved the 6th interval. And he loved the 2nd interval, right? So this is a very B.B. King sounding lick. In fact, the B.B. box is really just B.B. sliding up into this area of the major pentatonic over the 1 chord. Okay. So the next option we have is the 5th mode of this scale, A Mixolydian. And the Mixolydian is essentially the major scale, but instead of having the 7th interval, which is G sharp, it's pushed down to the G note, the flat 7th, which makes it perfect for our A7 chord, okay? So our riff for this one's gonna sound like this. And this is the first time we're not resolving on the root. I just want to illustrate that you don't have to resolve on the root. Again, it kind of depends on the scale and what you have available, but over this A7, in the Mixolydian, we have all 4 chord tones. So we can resolve on the A, the C sharp, the E, or the G note. All 4 of them. Resolving meaning the last note of our lick. So we're going to play the 5th fret, 4th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret. So we're just running through the chord tones and we're doing it in triplets. 1 pola 2. And we're going to give that just a little bend. And then we're going to head back to the E note. Triple 2 and 3. 7th fret on the off beat. Back to the 5th fret on the 3rd beat. 1 pola 2 and 3. 4. Slide up to the A note on the 4th beat. and then the E note on the 1. Tripola 1 and 2, tripola 2 and 3, 4, 1. And you could build a motif off that and do the exact same lick the second time and resolve on the A note if you wanted. That's just changing just the last note. Which gives you some cool vibes too. So that's soloing within the Mixolydian. Experiment with that, but really think about the chord tones. The arpeggios are a great place to start. So find all the notes of the A7 within that shape as well. Okay, so then our fourth strategy is combining the major and the minor scales. This is a really, really cool way to do this. Listen to your favorite solos and see how they do it. We're going to highlight the difference between the major third and the minor third here with this particular one, but we're also going to touch on these other tones. Okay, so we're going to start off on the 8th fret, and we're going to do a triplet 8-7-5 and another triplet 8-7-5. Really running through both of them. On the third beat, we're going to get to the 7th fret of the G string, and then on the and, we're going to play the C note, the minor third, and then on the 4th beat, we're going to hammer on from this 5 to 6. And then we're going to finish on the A note. So really slow, we get tripola, tripola, 3 and 4, 1. So you see, we're hitting minor, major, both, minor, major, both, minor, minor, major, both. 1 pola, 2 pola, 3 and 4, 1. And there you have it, folks. That is the fourth way to play through this strategy. And that is 4 different ways that you have to solo over the 1 chord in a blues, all right? So use them, experiment with them, get comfortable with them. And just know that by using some of these approaches, you're able to really highlight that 1 chord. So when the 4 chord comes around, the change is more prominent, making your solo sound better. Until next time, see you next Monday. Have a lovely day. Rock and roll. Take care of yourselves and have a lovely day. Take care. All right, everyone. Great job making it to the very end. Great job soloing with us today. Remember, 10thumbspro.com. Subscribe and learn. Think about becoming a Patreon with new guitar tutorials every single Monday. Tabs for each lesson. It will accelerate your learning. And until next time, keep on rocking and rolling. Keep on loving life. Keep on playing guitar. It's all good, friends, and we'll catch you next Monday for our next lesson. Think about those Skype lessons one-on-one too. All right, take care. Have a lovely day. Rock and roll.